Hello, everybody. It's been a long time. We're back with another episode of Motown Witch After Dark. I'm Yvette.
And I am Christine.
And it's been a minute. There's been a lot happening on this side, and the Motown Witch has moved its location, and all kinds of good stuff like that. We are no longer at the location on Schaefer. It took Google damn near a month to get my stuff updated, which kind of threw a wrench in a lot of stuff. But I am on Plymouth now, 16544 Plymouth. It's just one number different from the Schaefer address. So we're on Plymouth now. It's a smaller, cozier store. I decreased my overhead, and we got us a little cottagey type feel over here. I haven't painted yet because the landlord is still doing a few things. Tomorrow the buzzer gets installed.
Oh, upgrades.
And yeah, the buzzer gets installed on the front door, and he has to do something with some drywall or something, he said. So once he finishes all that, next week I can hopefully start painting to get my colors on these walls so that it looks more Yvette-ish. So, that being said, yeah, we were closed for 6 weeks. Grandma needed a break, so I had to take a much needed break because I did 7 days for a long time with no break.
Long time. Yeah, you was putting them hours in, baby.
Man,
yeah,
for a long time.
More serious than working at the plant.
I've never worked at a plant.
That's what it seemed like you was.
So yeah, and then life happened, and things happened, and deaths, and all these other things I had to handle. So I had to step back for a minute and sit my happy behind down for a little bit. So now I'm back. That's all that matters. We're back.
Yes, she
Yeah.
is back. She's back. She's a little rested, a little bit rested. Good, good.
Oh, I'm tired again already. But
Right.
Lord, Miss Yvette. Anyway, so we took a Motown Witch trip to New Orleans last weekend. I have a friend, Maya. She has the Black Root Collective, and she does these supper clubs. So Christine and Miss Mary both wanted to go to this one, and we had a great time.
Well, it was well worth.
And I think that was your first time, right?
First, I've never even contemplated Louisiana for anything, but New Orleans, it's a whole different vibe there. It's a whole different vibe. You know, there's one thing I did want to. If I start writing back in my journal, I have to say that Detroit is it's not a terrible place, but it's not a great place, and all urban cities kind of have a similarity to them.
Mm-hmm.
But New Orleans has a different energy. It's a different energy there. It is. It's grimy and it's real. But the energy there is very different. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it
You
is.
feel the energy shift when you land.
Yes, you do.
You feel it.
Not to mention it's a little warm. It's a little warm, a little bit warmer than Detroit getting it. It's a different kind of heat. So yeah, my girls. Oh my God, gotta get down there.
But you got a good weekend though, because it was after the hurricane, so there was no humidity.
Yeah.
Because NOLA's usually humid as hell. And it was nothing like that. It was a nice, the 80 degrees was just the 80 degrees, and it was really cool. It was nice. I still got burned in my face just a little bit, but
Yeah, the sun felt a little different. It was a little different.
Just a little bit. But I mean, I burn all the time anyway, but I didn't even think about it because we were sitting out there at the river.
Yeah.
And when we got back to the hotel, I'm like, ooh, my face is tingling. But
The Mississippi River.
yeah, she's like, I've never been in Mississippi. I'm like, we're standing right there near Frenchman Market. And I'm like, well, it was right there across the railroad tracks right there. Let's go over there. So
Yeah, that was really, it was enlightening. It was pleasant. I slept so good.
that hotel had the bomb bed. That bed was wonderful.
I don't know where you got that idea from, but I slept so good, and I don't sleep good at home. I do not sleep well at home. I don't. I be rocking and roll. It's either hot flashes, or my hip hurts, so I gotta move around, so I gotta get up and walk around or whatever. Man, once my ass got in that bed, it was over.
But you gotta think, not only were the beds comfortable, we were walking, we were doing things.
Yeah.
So you kind of wear yourself out. So that by the time you get to bed, it's like, woof.
It's work.
Your body is like, heifer, what you doing? You don't move this much at home. So,
right.
you know.
Because you was walking out. Man, you walked my ass off. I'm surprised my booty wasn't 2 sizes smaller by the time I got home. We was walking our asses off.
I didn't walk them half as bad as I do when I'm by myself.
Yeah, it was good. It was a very enlightening and uplifting venture. It was.
It was needed.
Yeah.
It was needed to get away. Her supper clubs are the bomb. They always have a theme. And this one's theme was Parable of the Sower, Octavia Butler. So she had Afrofuturism was the thing. So all the courses were phenomenal.
Yes.
All the drinks that went with the courses were phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
So this one here got good at juice because she don't drink like that. So
there's a drink for every course, and there was 9 of them. There were these custom. What do you call them? They were custom.
Like craft cocktails.
Cocktails. Every single one delicious. You get the different liquors. And no two had the same feel, the same mouth feel, the same flavor. Everything was different. And I was very much appreciative of that. So, yeah, she did her thing. Maya, I know her, but I still don't know her. But it was well worth it. She outdid herself as far as I could know.
And this was given in a different place than the other places when I've gone down there for her supper clubs. This one was given in the food museum.
Yeah.
So there's a food museum in New Orleans.
I tried to take as many pictures as I could, but there was everywhere you turn, there was something else to learn, something to read, something to look at. It talked about the different state. Every state has its own, I guess you could say, flavor profile. Has its own state food or food sources and various different things. So interesting. It really was. From, not so much from but I guess you could say from a tourist perspective, it was a little overwhelming.
The museum?
Yeah.
But they focus on the southern states, though.
On the southern states, yeah, they did.
It was good.
I could see how some dishes, if this is the state where these particular things are grown, or this particular food source is sourced from, that they would do all kinds of things, like with the beans and rice. There's a beans and rice festival, a bean festival, and I forgot the state. I have to look it up, but they celebrate their food. They celebrate their food. The southern states, they do. I've never celebrated anything from Michigan. Maybe an apple or a cherry. I don't celebrate that either. So they celebrate their food.
We eat good when we were in the South.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. And I spent enough time in Alabama and in Georgia. You eat good now, see? Yep, see, the inner fat girl in me is happy.
Well, the outer fat girl in me is
You are not outer fat. Shut up. Anyway, but I mean, it's a culture, and it's celebrating your culture, and I think that's the biggest part of it. And there's so many transplanted people down there in New Orleans now. It's so funny because I know at least 5 people who have moved from Detroit and moved to New Orleans.
And I can see why, because once I listen, like I said, it's just as grimy as any place else, but there's something to it. I could see myself there. And it wouldn't feel like so that I would have to change so much. I could just blend in. On almost seamlessly.
But see, you need another trip because we stuck to the French Quarter, so to speak.
Yeah.
And off the river. We stuck all in that area. You didn't really get to see the neighborhoods per se, or even like the Garden District, or and go down that. Like I said,
the neighborhood.
we could have done the trolley thing and gone and took that ride, and you could have saw some neighborhoods.
Yeah.
To see a little different perspective than the grimy part of the French Quarter.
Yeah, because I can imagine in neighborhoods they have suburbs just like we do here. So yeah, I could see that even the architecture. That's something I fell in love with. The architecture of the homes. They retain the authenticity of the area. Culture, I can see how culture is so important. Traditions are so important to embrace them, not just like glaze over them, but to embrace it and to live it.
Yes.
It's very different. You don't get that feeling. You will never get that feeling.
Because they destroy it so much, and they have a tendency to tear shit down here, and not really. Ironically, this is almost like squirrel, but not really. My son is, and always has been, fascinated with Detroit history, and he finds anybody who got old pictures, old stories, and I tell him some of like the old stories about me. Because basically, most of Detroit don't look, especially like downtown and through there, looks nothing like it did when I was growing up.
I agree.
Nothing.
100%.
And if you could think, well, how they closed Dodge Main and changed that with that new GM plant and all the stuff they did through there when they got rid of Poletown. So most of the stuff that was around me growing up is no longer there. So my son specifically today found some old pictures of Black Bottom. These people took.
Okay.
And it's like, you see the street sign says Orleans. Excuse me, the street sign says Orleans, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And you can see the one skyscraper, I think is probably the Penobscot building downtown. You can see that skyscraper in the distance, and that's the skyline, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's just these old wood houses. And see, New Orleans, they would have saved that.
Yeah.
And that the old houses would have still been utilized.
I see the difference.
And I even sort of kind of felt that way here when they were putting in the new door here, because it took two people to remove that door, because this building was built in 1938.
So
and it was the original door.
This building has history.
That door was like this freaking thick. It took two of them to move that door, and they had to set it down outside before they got it into the van, because it was just that fucking heavy.
Yeah.
So we kind of destroy a lot of our history and don't save the buildings or anything, because you can still have the building and update it, but still keep the history of the building where you can kind of see what it is and what it was.
That's true.
Because it's like, look where we stayed. That was an old ass building.
That was like old.
But the electricity was brought up to date.
Plumbing had to be.
And the plumbing was updated, and that's on the inside. But the outside of that was
still retained its character.
Right, that word.
Yeah, it did. Very much so. But most of the houses there have character. Detroit does have a character, because what most of our grandparents or parents or great-grandparents migrated up from the south to the north, and even that in itself, as part of that migration, brought a lot of the aesthetic, a lot of the way of life with them. And so Detroit has a unique mixture of culture and tradition and industrialization and so forth. But like you said, it's getting dulled. It's getting dumbed down or dulled out or something. I don't know what word to use, but yeah. So we're losing our character. Detroit is losing its character.
Very much so.
Do you remember? Oh my God, Highland Park used to.
With the houses.
And it was explained to me that since the auto industry was established here, a lot of the auto executives moved here, and they had their houses custom built. So that's why, like in Indian Village, and
Palmer Woods, rather.
Yeah, Highland Park, and even to Hamtramck, there's no two houses. They have a similarity, but they're not exactly the same. They're not exactly the same. So it's kind of like having plastic surgery and looking like everybody else or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Hamtramck used to be flavor, girl, flavor.
Lord.
I remember catching the bus over there with my grandma when she's going to shop for her Sunday, little Sunday suits and hats and stuff. Yeah.
At days.
Oh my goodness.
I think most little girls growing up, they had to sit in that damn chair with all those clothes. It's like those clothes were stuffed on those racks. They were stuffed where these ladies could barely get them open to see what was up there. Yeah. But you gotta sit there as a kid. You gotta sit there while I sat there while my grandmother shopped. I sat there.
Them show is your people over there, girl.
Like, ooh, goodness gracious. But yeah, a lot of that. I don't know. I don't know how Detroit could retain, because a lot of it's gone. Yeah. A whole lot of it's gone. I mean, like some of the Victorian houses in what is now Midtown have been saved, and they're way too expensive if you want to buy one. But some of them have been divvied up into apartments. Yeah. So. Yeah, because I remember when I was looking for an apartment and they told me, and they gave me the address, and I went, wait, what? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, talking about the rent or lease, yeah.
There's just something about, for me, something about living in something that's been divvied up is just going to be weird. I don't know, it's just a weird thing for me. Because it's like, even like here, because this is an old building, I can hear there's people that live upstairs. There's 3 apartments upstairs, and I can hear when they flush a toilet and all that. See, it's But at the same time, I've lived in apartments down in Lafayette Towers, and you heard nothing.
Yeah, well
those are built different. Yeah, and even the apartment that I lived in Palmer Park.
Yeah, those are.
You hear nothing. Those are built. Those are built for it tough. Use a Detroit reference. I mean, honestly, it's like there's a difference. So yeah, I didn't want to do that in an apartment building that's been divvied up. I just didn't want to. I mean, in a house that's been divvied up into apartments. I didn't want to do that. So I like my music loud and stuff. So, anywho,
yeah, rock on, yeah.
Depending on that mood. Depending on that mood, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. So, I have to say that travel. For me, travel is almost like lighting. Because I was never a traveler. Never. I always felt. But then I got issues. I never craved to travel.
Oh man, I can't sit still.
Because I always felt like, again, my own issue. Something's gonna happen if I go away from home too long. Again, that's my issue.
I understand.
So now that I'm older, excuse me, before I choked to death. And I wasn't gonna tell no lies, so you can stop choking me, okay? Now that I'm older or more mature, I see that oftentimes leaving and coming back gives you a different worldview.
Absolutely.
I want to see it all now. Before I have to get up out of this piece, I want to see it all.
I'm telling you, there's been certain places I visited that I'm like, okay, can I call and do a realtor from here to sell my house? Because I'm kind of over it and I don't want to go back. Yeah. I want to stay here. So I've done that in a few places.
Yeah. I thought I wanted to do Mexico really badly, but from some of the articles I've been reading and some of the posts, IG and this and that, is that it's become almost all of the people from here are moving there.
It depends on what part of Mexico you're talking about.
We're talking like Tulum and Tulum, Merida. I want to call it something de alente, something de alente. There's a lot of people who are what do you call it, repatriated from United States over to
just
Mexico.
go to a different part.
Yeah, and then there are different parts that are full of Americans or U.S. citizens that have moved there, and then there are other parts that are more rural that the people have, maintained their separation, I guess, so to speak. I have an uncle that's from Belize, and they are, my uncle Ernest, he's from Belize, and that's a kind of rural,
I love Belize.
and they're not as modernized there, but I think I would really like to see what that would be like. I'm really interested to see what it would be like without so many modern conveniences, although a lot of those places have modern conveniences, Sam's Club and BJ's and
But
stuff like
the
that.
modern convenience is not as modern as it is here in many other places. Like their infrastructure many times can't take toilet paper.
Yeah.
So you'll see, please put the toilet paper in a waste can. Don't put it in the toilet. Right. Because it's gonna fuck up their stuff. So it's little different little stuff. Like Brazil, they reuse their rainwater and stuff. So the bathroom kind of stinks a little bit because it's the rainwater that's going through the toilet. It's kind of it got an odor. So I was constantly burning incense while I was over there.
Yeah, you have to acclimate.
Because it's like I can't take the smell. So,
I guess if you're really serious about moving to another place, you would acclimate.
But you can.
Yeah.
I mean, because after a while it becomes something of the norm, I would think.
Yeah.
But I'm really persnickety about bathrooms.
Yeah.
I got issues.
Yeah.
So me and bathrooms have to be a certain kind of clean. Although the bathroom was clean,
Right.
it just had that smell because of that rainwater.
I get it. Well, I've been talking to this guy who lives in Cuba. I mean, just like over back and forth on WhatsApp and calling on WhatsApp or whatever. And
She talks to people. I don't talk to nobody. I don't got no WhatsApp or no nothing. I don't care. Don't talk to me.
but generally it's people like from a long, long way that I may never meet in my lifetime. But I do like to ask questions about, what is life like for you?
Mm-hmm.
And he, how you take the phone and you whatever. And Cuba is stunning.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely beautiful.
I got enough friends who've been. I'm not gone myself. But I've seen the island from the water.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but I've been going by. Haven't been on the island itself. But
he says that there are very, very rarely do you see cars that were made before what?
They got all the old cars there.
Old cars, like from 60s and 70s type. And I'm like, well, how do they're still running?
I think everything has to be shipped there.
Yeah, so, oh man, that would be interesting, just based on the fact that they live a different lifestyle because they're not as, what do you call it?
Everything's not right there where you can get immediate gratification.
Yeah.
Because it has to be shipped there. I mean, that's been my experience in spending time in any of the Virgin Islands or anywhere else. That's an island.
Yeah.
And to get stuff there is a whole different kind of a situation.
Expensive too. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, but I would like to see that. Still, I mean, I would still like to see that. There's something more than what we see when we get up and take the shower and put on our clothes and go to work. There's so much more outside of the world than that. And as I was saying earlier, it really shifts your worldview when you see how other people live and function just like you live and function. It's just in a totally different environment, and that's what kind of makes it exciting. But I'm dull. That's what makes it exciting. There's an academic side to everything.
I think maybe because I grew up around foreigners, people who were, for lack of a better words, fresh off the boat.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of those people, so I got to see a lot of different shit. A lot of the time. So I have a hard time looking at things as normal.
Yeah.
Because I got to see so much different.
And then that's another thing. What we perceive as normal could be something completely different
Absolutely.
than what other people see as normal based on what region they live in.
Mhm.
Just like in, again, New Orleans, um, the bands are going up and down the street and they're playing or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing playing band music in the, almost in the middle of the night and so forth, but it's their norm.
Mhm.
It's not something that's like, wow, I can't believe it or whatever. It's their norm. That's part of their, and the mix of cultures there is so rich. And I think that adds another layer to the excitement, how easy it was for me to get engaged, because just being an observer, to be an observer, and it's this rich, culturally diverse, everyday thing for them, But for me, it's all that. Okay, so I'm chocolate. Everything I eat is chocolate. I'm just using that as an analogy for living in Detroit.
Mhm.
Everything that I eat is chocolate, and then you go to Louisiana and there's chocolate and vanilla and strawberry and raspberry ripple and some caramel over here and there, and oh yeah, don't forget about there's vanilla and so forth. So that was exciting for me.
Maybe that's why I like it there so much. I've never thought about it like that, though. I mean, maybe that's why I like it there so much. I mean, I grew up in a melting pot,
Yeah,
so that's normal for me.
you're right.
So maybe that's why I like it, because it's like, hey,
Flavor,
it
flavor,
used to the flavor.
flavor in the air. What? And everybody says baby. Everybody calls you baby. The men, the women, the waitresses, the people on the street. Everybody call you baby. Oh man.
And she asked the waitress, say it again. She said, what, baby?
That tickled me. It doesn't take much to make me happy. It doesn't take much. It doesn't.
But the thing, we got to see a lot. Well, in that area, because we was only there for 3 days, technically like 2.5 or whatever.
Right.
But now you got to see what I talk about when I get annoyed when the people come here to the store and it'll be like, well, my family's from Louisiana, and it's like, okay, and because Detroit has just as much magic, and because
you interjected that a few
Yes.
times.
Because,
that is very
because
true.
of the migration, we got just as many people up here.
Yeah.
And there's people from Detroit that moved down there, people from all over the world that moved down there. We got all the stuff here. So the magic is where you put it. New Orleans is just a little bit more mystical, I believe. He probably goes dead or above ground, without being a smartass. But it has a different feel, and yes, it's a different spiritually. Spiritually, it has a different feel. But Detroit is you got water. Generally, in the city of Detroit proper, you're generally 10 miles from the water, no matter where you are.
That's absolutely true.
So you're around water all the fucking time. So, and then we have the salt mines. We have all these other things that make this city just as mystical and magical.
I agree. That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. We're the only peninsula within the contiguous United States. We are the only peninsula. We are special. We are special. That's like the tours that they have there. Tours could be arranged here for those who were really knowledgeable about Detroit history, but we don't have a touristy vibe here. It has to be created, I think.
Yeah, we really don't. I mean, Jaman, he does his tours.
Right.
But we don't
tours.
have like a whole big. We're not a tourist destination like that.
Yeah.
That's a tourist destination. Where we were is highly a tourist area.
Okay.
And that's why when I was saying that some of the stores with the magical stuff, it's for tourists. It's tourists.
Yeah, it was a lot.
You know, it's like, yeah, no, there's really no juice there, but it's tourists, and that's, you get to go back with your voodoo doll with the pins and say, oh, look, I went to New Orleans, that kind of thing. So,
Like, someplace was devoid of spirit altogether. But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
but yeah, I mean, we have a lot of spirit. We have a lot of spirits. We have a lot. Oh, even speaking of that, going back to my son and the pictures of old Black Bottom and the places that have been taken away by 75 coming through and all that stuff, because they go through the black neighborhood and get rid of them.
Yeah.
So there's some pictures. Him and his dad used to go and take pictures of those Victorian houses, the ones that they tore down from Little Caesars Arena.
Yeah.
They would go and they would take pictures of those abandoned houses back when they were still like wide open. You could see through them.
Yeah.
And all this, and so Justin swears you could see apparitions in some of these pictures.
Absolutely.
And there's one of the pictures on that site that he showed me today, and it's not a clear, somewhat figure, but there's this one little foggy spot right there, and it's like he's like, "Ma, see, this is what I was talking about." So I mean, we have a lot of stuff here. We just aren't a tourist city. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to say this without. Okay, so I'm just gonna say it. Our offspring, let's say your grandparents or your great grandparents and your parents, the ones that came here, they created various domestic cultures or whatever, and as they had children, our people mostly worked in factories and different things like that. That's what all of my uncles did and some of my aunts. They were so busy trying to create a lifestyle so that their children didn't have to struggle. The children or their offspring lost the value. I don't know how to articulate this. They didn't appreciate the value of what was.
Gotta speak up. Don't whisper.
Oh, they didn't value what was passed down to them.
Oh, most definitely. My mother would call that country shit. So she tried to remove herself from all of my grandmother going in the backyard, getting the herbs, doing whatever, or
Right.
the grasses, or whatever the hell she went out there and got and made her teas. All of it. And she called that they looked at it all as country Bama stuff. So they tried to remove themselves from it on purpose.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was the one out there in bare feet climbing trees doing all kind of extra stuff, it's like there's something wrong with her.
Yeah.
But to try to, I don't want to say upwardly mobile or whatever, something about trying to ascend the corporate ladder and all these other things where you leave all the other stuff back there.
But it's all the other stuff back there is what makes you who you are today.
Absolutely.
It's an integral part of
You
who
can
you
do
are.
both.
Yeah.
And see, that's the whole thing. Most people, though, I don't think many people realize on a lot of things they can do both.
I have heard you try to explain, just like hoodoo. I've heard you try to explain to people, this is not a new thing. This is something that was probably generational, while parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and moms and dads did certain things, and they're like, the young offspring is like, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, mopping with bleach, and I'm not, they're being presented with all these newfangled things like that, so we lose a part of that. No chickens in the backyard. Chickens in the backyard, or, great big gardens that you go out there and you pick your whatever, or making your house smell a certain way, or all these different habits and things that we saw our parents and grandparents do. We lost that, and that's why people are so desperate to asking questions outside of who they are and what their family culture and traditions were, because they didn't pay attention to what was being handed to them, more or less. Does that make sense?
There's a disconnect.
Yeah, it is.
There's a disconnect because you try to separate yourself from it. Like I said, they try to separate themselves from it. Although, it's like, I have an aunt who is Christian, but she will not kill a spider. And if it's a white spider, she's gonna wrap it in some Kleenex and put it in her purse to bring her money. But if you say something about that, that's it's like so it's like the misnomer of that's just a superstition. That's not magic. It's a superstition. So we follow the superstition. So you just give it a different word.
Right.
That's not sex. That's fucking. The hell? It's the same damn thing. So I mean, I'm sorry. But it's that thing. My mother calls me a demon and all of that crap, but on the first of the year, a man has to be brought in the house first. And, of course, it's the whole not sweeping the feet thing, and there's all of those other things, but yet anybody who just says this is what you're doing, oh no, I believe in the blood of Jesus. And I'm like, isn't that disturbing? That's disturbing.
It is. It is.
Because I can't say I want to believe in the blood of you. That's blood. Why? I don't understand. That's just nasty.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. So you remove yourself from it, and and you ignore the fact that you can do both. I know my years in corporate America, I had my little mini altar in the corner of my cubicle. I've had my Florida water in a spray bottle, spraying that sucker down. I've had cubes of camphor in the corners of my offices.
I get it.
And there's just things that I've done, and it's like, and I'm there in my suit, and my pantyhose and high heels, and the whole thing.
Yeah.
But you don't have to know because it's not your business.
Right, and those are things that were handed down to you. Sometimes the magic is not magic, for lack of a more appropriate or correct term, whatever you want to call it. Oftentimes that's already in you. It resonates through you. It's in your blood. It's in your bones. It's in your family. And people are like, oh, I don't do that. I don't do that. And then, well, why do you?
Right. There's no answer for it.
Right. It's just what I do. Just what our family did. Just what I learned from. Okay, so that's hoodoo, or that's a form of, maybe not specific.
Mm-hmm.
But they seem desperate to seek out something else. Why not embrace what is already given to you?
That's too much like right.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how do you like the area that you're in now, since you've relocated?
This is a much peaceful space. Yeah. It's a lot less hectic. 6 Mile and Schaefer was hectic. One of my customers said she never understood why I was over there. She said, because you were this place, and I walk into your space, and there's peace inside, and I come out, and the happiest people are screaming at each other. Some other bum is trying to get money out of me, and all these other things are happening around you, and she says it was almost like a disjoining thing to happen. This over here is more, it's calm, it's peaceful. It's community. The people who own the store next door came over, introduced themselves. The people who own the barbershop across the street came over, introduced themselves. And the people who live in the apartments upstairs have come down and introduced themselves. None of that happened on 6th and Schaefer. So it's a different feel, and then you got and then of course there's a curiosity of like, there's something called Motown Witch downstairs. What the hell? So they done came down and they done bought their incense, and looked around and bought a candle or two, and it's kind of neat though. It's because downsizing and making it more, I call this my little cottage. It's a cottagey feel. It's a homey type situation. It's almost like going home.
You feel more efficient here?
Absolutely, because I can do this by myself. I don't feel like I need somebody to watch the other corner of the room and all the other extra stuff. And the buzzer being put on the door. Well, hell, we still live in America, and that's security.
Yeah.
So this was already set up with all the cameras. There's cameras on the inside and the outside. Okay. I could see all over. I saw you when you pulled up, but I was back there in the back making a drink. Okay. So. I like that, and I like that. My landlord is strictly business. I don't know nothing about his personal life. he only speaks business. He calls to the point. He called me when the man came to do the door, whatever day that was. He's like, Miss Wyatt, they called. They said they'll be there in 30 minutes. Okay, bye. That's how he, and I love that. You know, I sent him his rent. He emailed me a receipt.
Good.
That I like that. That it's just, and you know, I tell him something's wrong, he fixes it without all that. You know, just a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
So all of that is nice. So for these these elder years that I'm still in business, because I don't know how much longer I want to do all this, but these elder years that I'm still in business get to be kind of smooth. Because even when we went to New Orleans, Justin ran the store without a problem. It wasn't him all stressed out and ready to shoot people like normal.
Yeah.
So, you know.
That's good. I'm glad to hear he wasn't.
I mean, because people would test you over there. They come pull on the door and, you know,
Right.
don't want nothing. That one old lady pull her pants down for no reason. Just, yeah. It's just too much.
Well, 6 Mile. Come on now, 6 Mile.
Well, you got that. You got, you know, some of the adult foster care homes are over there. You have the hospital right there that let the mental people out, and they come walking in hospital gowns with their bag of belongings up the street. You know, so there was a whole lot going on,
Yeah.
a whole lot at any given time. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Just chill. It's chill over here. And even in here, a lot of my customers who come have said, "Oh my God, this is so much more peaceful."
It is.
So,
It is. I know it was for me. And the efficiency of time, I only got a few minutes. I need to grab this, that, this, and this. I don't have to search and look or whatever. I don't have to disturb you or Justin at the counter.
Mhm.
Well, where is this and that and the other? I can literally just walk to it. I like this space. I do. As if that mattered, but I do. And I like it for you too.
yeah, and yeah, I like the smaller overhead.
Yeah.
The smaller overhead makes a huge difference.
Everything is overpriced right now.
Absolutely.
Everything is overpriced. And that building, the maintenance couldn't be like up to par because
Yeah, they wouldn't fix anything. Every time it rained, I would have a anxiety attack from the house. If I'm asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning and I hear there's a thunderstorm or whatever going on outside, I'm anxious to get there because I know something is leaking somewhere. There's water coming through a ceiling somewhere.
Yeah.
And all they're gonna do is send someone out to patch it, and then now it's leaking in another spot. So it's all groovy. We're working it out. Like I said, I hope to be back to normal. My version of normal. Within 2 weeks to a month
Okay.
of having the walls, the colors that I wanted, and all the other stuff. Because now that Google has it updated, all my other customers who are not on social media that would know that I moved have found me.
Okay. Very good. Very good. You want to talk about the witch's ball?
Yeah, I have decided there is no witch's ball this year. There is no yeah. There's no witch's ball or no witch's bazaar this year. We're taking a break. I think 2024 is the year to step back and regroup. Because I didn't do the Hoodoo Festival in the spring, and I'm not doing the witch's ball in the fall. So
It's been a tumultuous year.
absolutely.
And I'm just speaking to you as a friend. Maybe you needed some rest.
Absolutely. I agree. Because grandma tired.
I get it.
So,
I get it.
you know, all the things that have happened, hell, since April has been absolutely nuts. So, yeah.
Sometimes if you don't take the time, sometimes the time will take itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I got the warning. I heard it. I heard it in my ears. I heard it from my mambo. I heard it. Yeah. So, yep. So now we're back. We're rolling. And I don't have to spend as much time doing as much as I did. Although I still got to catch up on making my loaded candles and making my spiritual baths. It's things that I have to take the time to start to get back in the swing. Because moving to a smaller space, and this space is like a third of what the other space was. So I had to find a space to work that felt good. Because everything I do, the feeling has to be here for me to do it. So I got my space in the back, in the storeroom back there. I got my table, my hot plate, all my stuff is back there. Turn on my music and do my thing. So I'm able to handle that because I can't do anything at the house. My first mind was, oh, we can make this at the house, but I can't. The house is not. No. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're all, like I said, we're almost back on track, and just waiting for certain things to happen. Like I said, when he finishes that door, because that guy got to finish. The guy got to do the buzzer tomorrow, and then the landlord comes and does some drywall stuff and put molding back up after that. So I don't know what day he's gonna do that. And after that, then I can start to look at painting here and there, and knowing that I get to pace myself and not try to do the whole damn thing at once.
Right.
Like I did that before.
We don't want you.
Yeah, we're not gonna try to fall out. So I see the sections, how I'm gonna do the sections, and have it space, have it. Yeah.
Good.
I'm planning. I have to remember. I'm 59, not 29. I got it. I got it.
Right. I believe after we reach a certain, not even a certain age, but a certain progression in our lives, that's when things are supposed to become easier. You're not supposed to be as pressed. Even if you don't want to, oftentimes when you're living a certain lifestyle, if you're working all the time, if you're, committed to the demands of family and work and all this other stuff, either you're going to have to acknowledge the fact that you're no longer equipped to be juggling 10 balls instead of now, let's juggle 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Me passing out up there.
I didn't want to bring that up, but that was very.
Yeah. That drove it home.
Yeah, it really did. That was had to be shit. That shit wasn't funny. That shit was not funny.
That drove it home. And I was scared for my kid more than anything because he had just lost his father, and then he gets a call to his mother and passed out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that wasn't funny.
That made me. I've learned to pace myself. So I have to pace myself a little bit differently. I don't want to say slower. Differently. I have to pace it differently.
I get that. Well, my life is different now than it was back in the spring. So learning how to release and let go and set down and slow down. It has it's been beneficial for me. I can really stay focused and concentrate on my own well-being. And that's super important after you get to a certain age.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Turn into Whitley Gilbert. Relax, relate, release. Relax, relate, release.
Yeah, that shit is for real though.
Honestly, just not, because I have a tendency to push through. So it's like, no, I gotta get this finished. So I'm gonna push through. I gotta get this finished. Push through, and that's always been me.
Yeah.
So I can't do that like that anymore. So now I have to figure out a way to do things. Although when you look around here and think that I moved all this shit in here, all he did was put the shelves together. But I see, so I'm almost like one big ass contradiction. But anyway.
Oh, not you.
Anyway, but I had to do it. Then I have to go back and redo that but then again, I packed that way. I packed everything in alphabetical order so that I could put it up in alphabetical order. Because the OCD monster will start munching at my brain cells.
Girl, that's my adversary. That is my adversary. Like, me buying a couch off of Facebook Marketplace and I can't even get it in the house. But I saw it, I want it. OCD. Okay, so I already envisioned what it's gonna look like once I get it in the house. So I gotta get it. Didn't think about measuring the sofa and the door frame. None of that occurred to me. till I got it to the house. But I'm not giving up. I'm not.
Yeah, her special.
Yeah.
Her special.
OCD, have your ass going at the hamster on the hamster wheel.
That's that impulse shopping thing. That's what that is.
I don't even know what you're talking about. You always got to bring up some shit. Nah, I got that bad. If I see it and I want it, I gotta have
Cause
it.
I'm the one to walk there. No, I gotta measure stuff. No. No.
Yeah.
So anyway,
We all have our things we need to work on.
we got stuffs. But that's about this episode was just a catch up to let y'all know that we're still here. There'll be an actual topic at a later date. But we had to give the update about the store and everything and let you know that, we really haven't gone anywhere. We just shifted.
Let's make that a trend. It's time to shift.
Yeah, we just shifted. Just a skosh, just a little bit. So, anyways, it's been real, y'all. Next time we'll have a topic. And we will catch y'all next time.